Stanley Kubrick's 1980 masterpiece, The Shining, is perhaps the most analyzed film of all time. All of Kubrick's filmography are some of the most analyzed movies of all time, but The Shining, for some reason, is the one that has the strangest interpretations. There is an entire documentary on this subject called Room 237, which breaks down all the strange fan theories surrounding this film, including one that claims that Kubrick made this film as a confession that he helped NASA fake the moon landing. With the wide variety of fan theories and interpretations, I'm going to attempt to bring you my 2 cents in the meaning of this film. The only theory that is presented in the film Room 237 that has any validity is the origin of the spirits in the Overlook Hotel is a result of the fact that the Overlook was built on a Native American burial ground. This ultimately shows the Overlook's dark and sinister past, tying the fictional horrors of the spirits lurking at the Overlook to the real-life atrocities that were committed against the Native American people. Kubrick likes to reveal hidden themes through seemingly throwaway lines. He does that here with the information about the fact that the Overlook was built on a Native American burial ground, and he also does it again in his final film, Eyes Wide Shut.
Who do you think those people were? Those were not just ordinary people there. If I told you their names, I'm not going to tell you their names, but if I did, I don't think you'd sleep so well.
Kubrick uses this technique of subtle storytelling to show the audience the darker core of the themes presented in his films. Though beyond the grand commentary on American history is a simple story of the destruction of a family, Kubrick has stated himself, "It is just the story of one man's family quietly going insane together." Jack Torrance's descent into madness is starkly illustrated here. It culminates in the murder of Dick Halloran and his attempts to kill his own family. Many people have pointed out that Jack Torrance starts this film already unhinged. Yes, compared to the book by Stephen King, Jack definitely starts off as a more unstable and suspicious person. It's no secret that Stephen King told a more tragic story about a decent man who succumbed to his inner demons and addictions, while Kubrick told a story about the inherent darkness within human nature, stripping away sympathy for Jack, and instead portraying him as a man who was always on the edge of madness, driven not only by external forces, but a deep-seated hostility within himself. It's reminiscent of this one quote from The Dark Knight.
See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
It isn't just the supernatural forces at the Overlook Hotel. It's the extreme isolation that Jack and his family are forced into that is the main contributing factor to the destruction of the Torrance family. While the idea of being alone and isolated with one's family seems idealistic, it turns out to be a personal hell for the Torrance family. Understatement of the world. As Jack's sanity wanes away, the Torrance family grows more trapped into the grips of the Overlook Hotel. As self-isolation has become more common in our society, science has proven that it can be damaging to one's mental health. It's funny how The Shining has aged like a fine wine in the post-COVID era, because this film served as a warning to the dangers of extreme isolation 40 years before the pandemic. Danny Lloyd's performance as Danny Torrance is my favorite child performance in cinematic history. He perfectly embodies the behavior of a 6-year-old child without being annoying for this film's adult audience. His performance conveys a significant amount of depth as we witness him becoming overtaken by the spirits at the Overlook. Rather than driving him to insanity like his father, the spirits use Danny as a vessel to warn him and Wendy of the dangers that lie ahead. It's also very satisfying to see how Danny outsmarts his father, revealing that Jack ultimately isn't that intelligent. Blinded by his murderous rage, he fails to see what is right in front of him. This lack of awareness is exactly why the spirits chose him, since Jack is the easiest to control. Stephen King has criticized this film for its adaptation of Wendy Torrance. In the book, she is a more headstrong character, while in the film, she is more timid and subservient to her husband and his abusive nature. A pivotal scene that exemplifies this dynamic is when Jack berates Wendy for interrupting his focus while typing, and she just stands there and takes it. While it's understandable that King would be frustrated with these changes because it strays away from his original creative vision, though Kubrick's adaptation of Wendy is far from being bad. Instead, Kubrick effectively communicates how Jack has completely dehumanized her. Through Shelley Duvall's excellent performance, the audience can see that Wendy feels utterly powerless in the face of Jack's abuse. Now, why would she feel this way? Contrary to popular belief, it's not because she's weak. Rather, she has likely endured years of emotional and psychological abuse, leading to her accepting her fate as a punching bag. Also add in the extreme isolation. Now more than ever, she is trapped with this incredibly abusive individual, whose abusive nature is growing stronger and stronger by the minute. Now, I have to address Kubrick's methods in obtaining this performance from Shelley Duvall. I obviously do not approve of how he treated her poorly off-screen to achieve this performance, practically forcing her to method act. However, I would like to believe that Kubrick could have helped Shelley Duvall develop as strong of a performance without resorting to bullying tactics. This raises an unsettling question about the lengths in which a director might go in pursuit of an artistic vision. Unfortunately, in this instance, we live in a world where the latter approach prevailed, leaving us to grapple with the ethics of artistic expression versus the well-being of the performers involved. When I was younger, I used to defend Kubrick's methods, though as I've matured and confronted my own mental health challenges, I now lean towards the less abusive alternative. All ethical problems aside, this is still my favorite horror movie of all time. While there have been films that have disturbed me more, this film has resonated with me the most. Each rewatch feels like experiencing this film for the first time, as I discover something new with every viewing. On a side note, it is also my favorite film to watch on Halloween night, as it serves as the perfect bridge between fall and winter, because the film begins in late October and culminates deep into the winter months. This film remains as a towering achievement in cinematic history, in its ability to invoke complex emotions and provoke thoughts on deeper societal issues, ensures that it still is able to resonate with modern audiences. The Shining serves both as a cautionary tale and a mirror reflecting that darkness can lurk within us all. Each viewing uncovers new layers, making it a continual source of fascination. This film, with its haunting imagery and rich symbolism, continues to captivate my imagination, solidifying its place as my favorite horror movie of all time. In a genre often defined by cheap scares, The Shining invites us to confront the shadows of our own lives, leaving a special place on the landscape of cinema and my own understanding of fear, vulnerability, and resilience. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this latest video, and if you did, make sure to give this video a like. And if you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell notification so you can be notified. every time I upload a new video. And shout out to the Hanging Chad and Chris O'Donnell. Thanks for watching.